How many times have you been on a vacation, a road trip, or maybe a drive home? Could be either or. How many times do you go on those roads that are gravel? Now, at first, if you grew up in the city, you might think, damn, they're really annoying. Or if you grew up in the country like I did, you might be thinking, ugh, man, roads, gravel, feels like home. Either or, it requires you to do one thing. No matter what your initial reaction is, no matter how you perceive this, you have to go slower. Now, as I said yesterday, we went on a road trip down into Indiana, down by French Lick, Indiana. If anybody is familiar with that area, it's like a touristy, rolly hills area. It reminds me a lot of Wisconsin and different parts of it, just way in the bottom of Indiana. It actually wasn't something I was expecting in Indiana, but not a knock on Indiana. But what I want to talk about here is why gravel roads are important. What lesson could we take away from gravel roads and apply it to fatherhood? Fatherhood is one of those things that gets sold as this bag of goods that should be able to go 100 miles per hour. You should be able to have this life at work that goes 100 miles per hour. Your family life should go 100 miles per hour. But reality is, neither of those work, and nowhere else do we see this more evident than when Corona initially hit us. Everybody had to slow down. And as they slowed down, they realized, wow, there's a lot of mess around here. And what this episode, and what I'm always reminded every time I have to take a road trip and travel on gravel roads, which is what we had to do for this one, gravel roads require you to go slower. Gravel roads require you to take in perspective, because most times we're on the gravel roads, you're either in flat country looking at nothing, or you're in the rolling hills of somewhere where there's not many people and they haven't paved it. Both places offer perspective. Both places will take you to a place that allows you to see things differently. And both places give you the perspective that you need when you go through life. As you go through life as a dad, what I also learned filling silo this year with my dad is my dad is an old school farmer. He's got all the modern things, but they're all fairly small. He's got a grain dryer that's 35, maybe even 45 years old if I'm doing my math correctly. It's a very small batch, everything. Nothing's really big. Everything, it takes a little bit longer, but everything always gets done. And I was filling silo, I was reminded, like, I should get my dad a shirt that says, slow is fast and fast is slow. And what do I mean by that? Because in farming, I'll take this analogy from gravel and wrap it into farming. In farming, when you go fast, the machine works harder. When you have a bunch of metal components, either in a combine, a chopper in this case, baler, whatever it may be, any farming equipment, the faster you're going, the faster that PTO, which is the power takeoff, that drives the entire machine that you're pulling, the faster that goes, the more moving parts and the more metal that's banging against, and the more it's going to wear out. The more things wear out, the more likely they're going to break. Think of that analogy in your body. How often do we just run 100 miles per hour, not worry about what we're eating, not doing any other intention, and we're just burning out everything in our body? How often are we going through life in a way that's just too fast, that we're wearing it out? And so just like filling silo, just like those gravel roads, I want to remind you to find the slower paths. Because often it's the slower paths that will take you to the places you really want to go. It's the slower path that will still get the job done, but it'll get it done, as my dad would say, with higher quality, less breakdowns, and the efficiency of going slower and just taking your own pace will improve the quality of what you do. Applying that to fatherhood, I mean, if there's not a better way to describe that, I don't know what is. Applying that to fatherhood in a way that really helps you understand that process of fatherhood is slow. It's not fast. It's not one conversation and done. It's repetitive parts of conversations. It's taking what you're learning and applying it on a much deeper level over and over and over again. It's inviting all of that into your life in a way to keep going. I hope this message helped give you a different perspective as a busy dad that might be running around at 100 miles per hour. Because today's your reminder, gravel roads remind you to go slower. Gravel roads remind you to take in the view. And going slow is really going fast, and going fast will end up really going slow. Guys, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.